I also want to add some, whoops. Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Nikki, and today's video is going to kind of be a follow-up video to my recent emotional eating video, as well as the binge eating videos that I've made in the past, talking about how I've dealt with the issue and overcome it, although it is something that I still deal with. I'm gonna go ahead and share some of my practical tips that have really helped me when I feel like I want to binge or just to kind of avoid binging in general, and I'm gonna just go into a little bit more detail with them today about what I actually do. So if you enjoy this video or find it helpful, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And let's get started. So one thing that I got a lot of questions about in my most recent video where I talked about emotional eating and things that I can do to kind of like satisfy my binges or my cravings, things like that. One of the things I do is make a snack mix. And it is just a way for me to have a big serving of a snack with a lot of variety. And that way I can kind of take it out of the kitchen, have my snack and be done. And usually the mixes are like 5 or 6 points for the whole thing. So I'm gonna show you guys how I actually make it. In the past, when I've binged or when I do binge, I find that I want to have a bunch of everything, like a lot of everything, and I just like to have variety. Like I'll stand in the kitchen and just go from box to box to bag to whatever, binging the food, and I just like have no thought to it, but I just want to have a bunch of things. And I don't know if everyone's that way, but just personally, that's how I get a lot of the time. And so that's one of the reasons why this snack mix really helps me. It's a filling snack, but it really gives me good variety. It really satisfies that like feeling of wanting a bunch of different things, but I can still have them all together in one snack. So let me go ahead and air pop my popcorn first, and then I'm gonna show you how I assemble it. But I just use regular popcorn kernels like this. I use my popcorn machine, and this is actually 0 points on WW, and that's what I like to use as like the base for my snack mixes because it makes it a little bit more filling. I can add some seasoning to this if I want to, some butter spray or whatever I want to do with it. But I'm gonna go ahead and make this first, and then I'll show you guys what I do. Okay, so I went ahead and popped the popcorn, and this is like 2 servings usually. I'd use like half of this right now. So usually it'll work out like I can give Adam a serving, or I will just put it in an airtight bag or something and use it the next day. But I am gonna go ahead and put some ghee spray on this. So I don't use a lot, just enough that the movie theater butter salt will stick. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that really quick. And then I shake it around. Okay, so now that I have that done, I'm gonna go ahead and put the popcorn in first. So I just like to use like a plastic bowl like this. I'm gonna go ahead and take about half of the popcorn out and add it to my snack bowl. So this is where it's fun, and I change it up every time. You guys might think it's like a weird combination with some of these, but honestly, I like to do just different salty snacks together. I like different flavor combinations together, and it just usually works out. Sometimes I'll do some sweet ingredients. Actually, Adam likes to make his snack mixes a little bit more on the sweet side. I like to do more salty, but I already went ahead in WW and tracked out my snack mix with the point values, because pretty much what I do is I scan the snack, then I set it to grams, and I go to as high as I can go to get as many points as I want. So say I only wanted a 1 point serving of these oatmeal squares that I'm gonna be using. I went ahead and entered them in WW, I scanned them, I switched it over to grams, and then I scrolled until the highest amount of grams I could have for 1 point, which is 12 grams. So I'm gonna go ahead and weigh out 12 grams to add to the snack mix. Then I did the same thing for these jalapeno crisps. And actually, these are my favorite thing that I'm having in the snack mix, so I wanted a 2 point serving. I scanned it, changed it to grams, and then I can have 22 grams for 2 points. So I'm gonna add these. I also wanna add some pretzel sticks, so I'm adding 1 point of these. It is 10 grams that I can use for 1 point. And then something crunchy, but doesn't have much flavor. These Trader Joe's crunchy curls, I'm gonna go ahead and weigh out 1 point worth, which is 15 grams. So I'm gonna show you how I do that. I pretty much just use my food scale. This thing's awesome. I put it down, I put the snack bowl on it, and then I hit the 0 button, and then I'll just measure out in grams each of the servings. Then I 0 it again, do the next serving, and then I mix it all together. So let me do that. Okay, so now that everything's in there, I just mix it up. I like to do the popcorn on the bottom because it's the lightest, so it just mixes better that way when I do it first, but pretty much just shake it up. Okay, so now that I've mixed it up, this is my final snack mix. Like I said, this is only 5 points on WW, super satisfying, really helps me, like I said, when I want to have a bunch of different things. I like to make this and then get out of the kitchen. I have it all portioned out and tracked already, and it's almost kind of fun to track and see like how many of each serving I can have, and I like push it to the limit to get every gram so I can get that point value. But anyway, that will be my snack mix that I have and satisfies my snacking cravings. The next thing I want to talk about is having a plan in general. So there's two different things I want to talk about, water and meals. So first of all, with water, I always have some type of way that I can stay on track with my water. And honestly, I go through phases with like what I have, what I want to use. I don't know. I really just switch off a lot. So like right now, my phase is to use this giant hydro jug. I've actually really been liking this. It's 64 ounces. I try to drink one full one in a day, and then I don't drink it with meals or anything. I just have glasses of water with meals. So that is how I feel like I hit my water goal. But before I was using this, I was using blender bottles, and I would try to have 6 blender bottles in a day. So it was just something like that. Some way that I could kind of keep track of how much water I was drinking, because hydration is huge and it helps so much with just feeling better. And overall, I find that staying hydrated really does help me when it comes to binging and wanting to snack. A lot of times I'm just thirsty, and a lot of times I'm just dehydrated and don't realize it. And I just always feel so much better when I drink my water. It really should be a priority. It really does help to make it a focus. So I have my hydro jug. I try to drink this, like I said, once a day, and then I have other glasses of water throughout the day. I drink water at the gym, not with that. And so I do make sure to get all of my ounces in that I'm going for, but I always try to have a plan. So I said the blender bottles, but then like before that, I was just doing glasses of water. So I would try to have a certain amount of glasses of water. A lot of times I would find I was chugging the water then, and I don't like to do that as much. So I do like having just like a big water bottle. And especially at the start of my journey, I always used a giant water bottle, and it really helped me to stay hydrated. So anyway, having a plan with your water to make sure you stay hydrated is huge and can really help with binging. And then also just planning ahead with the food that you have around. I know it's easier said than done, but staying stocked up on healthy, good grocery options really is so helpful. And I find that when I buy healthier proteins and vegetables, I am so much more likely to make food at home and not get food out, because then when I get food out, it never satisfies me, and then I find myself binging later that day because I didn't get enough from the fast food that I ate. So when I plan ahead, when I have groceries on hand, I can really make sure that I make filling meals that really help me to stay full throughout the day and not want to binge as much. Also, not having foods around that are really going to trigger me. So I talk about not restricting foods, which I definitely don't restrict any, but there are some foods that I don't keep around the house because I know if they are sitting there, I'm going to be so tempted by them. And honestly, even in the start of my journey, I used to buy this caramel cashew trail mix, and I could eat the entire container. I think the container was over 100 points, and I could eat the entire container in 2 days, and sometimes I would, and it would really just like get me off track, and it was really upsetting. And I would just keep buying them though. So then I would have them around and be tempted by them. And honestly, I haven't gotten that in over a year now. I like to buy the smaller bags because they do have smaller bags of it. That way I feel much less tempted to just eat as much as I would. But honestly, just not having them in the house, it just helps me personally because I know I'll be tempted by them. And willpower can only get you so far, especially when it comes to binge eating and just food addiction in general. And so I really try to keep low point food options on hand. I plan ahead and make sure that I grocery shop for snacks that are going to keep me full, things that I can make these snack mixes with, just stuff like that. Because if I don't plan ahead, I find that we get takeout much more. We're not satisfied. I find myself binging then because of it later that night. And it's just kind of like a never ending cycle. So planning ahead with my water and my food at home is huge. Now, another thing along those lines with eating healthy foods that make me feel good is making protein and fiber priorities to me. So I really try to have high protein intake every single day. I set a goal for myself, and I don't track my protein every day, but there are random days that I do just to kind of see where I'm at. And I really try to get a certain amount because I notice the days that I have that amount of protein, I am so much more full, so much more satisfied, and I just feel better all around. And the same thing goes with fiber. So having high fiber options around that I can have to keep me full, to help me digest, and just make me feel better all around, making those two things a priority has been huge for me, and it's really helped me when it comes to binging, because a lot of times when I binge, I just feel so hungry and so restricted or not satisfied that I just want to eat until I'm in so much much discomfort and pain. And so a lot of times I find when I'm eating these high fiber and protein foods, I don't even feel hungry enough to like want to binge. Like it doesn't even become a thing because I already feel so full throughout the day that it really helps me stay away from the kitchen and from binging. So some things I want to show that are higher in fiber, higher in protein that really help me out. I really like to get cans of tuna because it's such an easy snack. I can just open a can, mix a little bit of light mayo, some seasoning, maybe veggies like onion or something, and then there's so much you can do with it. It's super flavorful, it's filling, and it's got 24 grams of protein in one can. So very satisfying and just a really simple option. You don't even have to cook it. A lot of the times I'll just have it with crackers or toast. Along those lines, toast is a really good option. Sometimes when I feel like snacky or I just want to eat something filling, I will just make 2 pieces of toast. I'll spread avocado on it, add some Canadian bacon, and then maybe even eggs if I feel like doing that, make like a breakfast sandwich type thing, but like an open face thing on toast. It seems so much more filling to just eat it as toast, like as 2 slices than like even a sandwich. And so I do like to have that. I really like to use the flax or sesame Ezekiel bread. That's higher in protein, it's got good fiber, and it's just a good option. Another thing is Greek yogurt. A lot of times at night when I want something sweet and I'm still feeling hungry, sometimes even when I'm not hungry, I still like to have my yogurt, but these have 12 grams of protein in the container. I can add some blueberries, some granola, and make it just a more filling option. And it's pretty low point still, but with, like I said, a good amount of protein. So yogurt's a good option. Also pasta. So there are some times where I feel like I want to eat a big meal or I want to binge. And a lot of times now what I do is I'll make myself some pasta because even if it is higher point, I can still have a really good serving for lower points than if I were to binge or to have a takeout meal. So a lot of times I'll make half a box of Banza for myself. I'll toss it in a little bit of sauce, maybe add some meat or veggies, and it makes such a big portion. It's so filling, and it's only 7 or 8 points. And with that, that would be 22 grams of protein and 10 grams of fiber. So I really like using pasta as an option. I love pasta in general. I could eat it for every meal. Allowing myself to just have pasta as even like a snack or a meal throughout the day really helps me because it's filling. It feels like I'm eating a lot, and it's something that I really enjoy. So Banza pasta, Barilla Protein Plus pasta, any of those options are really good. And like I said, lower point, but they're something that I go to because they help me stay full. Then some other things would be eggs. A lot of times I like to hard boil eggs and have those as a snack, or just scrambled eggs, like I said, on toast. And then also when it comes to fiber, a lot of 0 point foods have a good amount of fiber in them. So apples, I have an apple every single day. That really helps me stay up on my fiber. Raspberries, bananas, even air pop popcorn has fiber. So just different things like that. I really try to make my focus and I try to incorporate those every day. Okay, the next thing when it comes to binging doesn't really have to do with the kitchen, but getting enough sleep is so essential. And I say this in every video that I talk about this, but sleep is so important for every aspect of your life. Sleep should really be one of your top priorities because it is your time to rest, to repair, and to reset and be able to be a better version of yourself every day. Because when you don't get sleep and you're depriving yourself of sleep and rest, you're only hurting yourself. So making sleep a priority, it really helps with cravings, it helps with tendencies to want to binge. And ever since I've really made that my focus, I've noticed it has helped so much with my mood and my cravings. Another thing I want to mention is just being really mindful when you eat. And this is something that's kind of been a challenge for me, but I've learned along the way how to be more mindful as I'm eating. One thing I noticed that really does help me is to kind of get off my phone, maybe not watch TV or do another activity while I'm eating. I'm guilty of definitely doing that, but I really do try to make it a priority to focus on what I'm eating, eat a little bit slower because then it gives me more time to digest. I get fuller faster, and just really thinking, am I full? Am I satisfied right now? Do I really need more food? Do I want more food? How am I feeling? And really thinking about how I feel. I've really learned to listen to my body, and a lot of times when I want to eat, I can actually identify that it is not because I'm hungry. It's not because my body needs fuel right now. It is because I'm using food to cope with emotions or stress or something other than hunger. And so really being mindful about listening to my body and what makes me feel better is huge and has really made a difference with my binge eating in general, my emotional eating, and just even eating out of boredom. Okay, one more thing. I'm kind of all over the place with this one, but the last thing I wanted to say was I always talk about having something else to do. So when I feel like I want to binge or I'm feeling emotional or something and I'm like drawn to the kitchen to get food, I really try my best to get away from the kitchen. So I will get out of here. Usually I won't even be downstairs in the room behind me. I'll go upstairs and I'll try to work on something. Maybe I'll read a book. So I actually mentioned that in my last video and got a lot of questions about what books I've been reading. In the past, I would try to keep myself distracted with like self-help books, which are great, and especially if that's something that interests you, but a lot of times I found that I would just get kind of bored and just never finish them. I never wanted to read them. I kind of dreaded reading. It felt almost like a chore. There's a snowplow outside, so hopefully it's not too loud. But anyway, I've learned that I was just choosing the wrong books, and I found now that what really interests me, keeps me hooked, and just makes reading enjoyable are different thriller books. So specifically, Frida McFadden has been my favorite author so far. I also read one other book, The Perfect Marriage. That was good, but I went back to Frida now. So right now I'm reading The Perfect Son, and that's just been my author and books of choice. I read The Housemaid and really liked it, which there's a part 2 coming out in a few days, I think. Then The Locked Door I also liked, and The Inmate was really good. So that's what I've been reading, and I'm always taking book suggestions. But like I said, finding something that actually interests me and draws me in, I find that I can't even stop reading once I pick up her books, and it just helps to take my mind off things and not be focused on the emotions that I'm feeling. If I'm stressed and I want to go eat or something, it does really help me to kind of relax and get my mind off food. And on top of that, sometimes I can go to the gym if I feel that way. I can go outside and skate or play with my dogs or just do something to distract myself. So that's something that really has helped me when it comes to binging too, because most of the time the source of wanting to eat is not hunger, it's something else. Okay, another thing I forgot to mention was, like I said before, being prepared, having these good options at home. If you grocery shop and get some good options to have around. One thing I like to do is have some low point options that I can have big servings of. So you kind of saw that with the snack mix. This is a decent serving, but also different fruity things, gummy things. One thing that I used to binge on all the time was candy. I love gummy candy so much. Chocolate too, but more so gummy candy. And something that's really helped me is finding these. So there are times where I will have like 3 packs of these, which is like 6 fruit rolls, because I just want to keep snacking on them and they're really good and I'm enjoying them. I'm hungry, and it really is satisfying that I can have so many of them. They're only 1 point per pack, so I can have 3 of these for 3 points and feel like I'm eating a lot, and really it's just 3 points worth. They're 60 calories for a pack, so it's not bad. And same with the Soli gummies. I would eat an entire big bag of Jolly Rancher gummies without a second thought, and so now I have these options that make me feel better. They're lower point, they're not loaded with sugar like those candies that I used to eat, and like I said, they just make me feel better. So it's good to have these types of options. It's taken some time to find what snacks work best for me, but these have helped me so much on my journey. Okay, so I know this video was kind of all over the place. I just kind of wanted to give some practical ideas of the things that really help me when I want to binge, when I'm struggling with binging. It is something that I still deal with. It is still something that I have urges to do and cravings, and I think that is something I'll be dealing with for the rest of my life, just my relationship with food. So these are some of the things that have helped me. I'm still dealing with them sometimes, but these have really helped me to kind of stay more full throughout the day, stay satisfied, and avoid binging. I hope you guys found this video helpful. It really does help me to know that so many of you also can relate. And of course, I don't wish this for anyone, but to know that I'm not alone dealing with these types of things. In the past, I just thought that I was, and I thought that something was wrong with me, and I was just like the only one binging and dealing with this bad relationship with food. And now that I know that so many other people can relate and understand, it's kind of even helped me to like take some blame off myself, or just take some of that, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it really does help to know that I'm not alone. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you do, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time.